All right, so here we are at topic number 3, the MTV challenge. After last week's elimination winners, Corey and Bettina were told to rejoin the group without picking new teammates. We knew we were in for a twist. And twist us, TJ did. The game would now be played as individuals on teams. The daily challenge saw agents have to compete a run and solve a puzzle and then divide up into 3 color-based teams. Or if you want to stick with the lame-ass theme, cells. Super lame, by the way. The Emerald Cell wins the rest of the daily challenge, making them the agency. They then choose to compromise one agent. They choose Priscilla, which everyone saw coming. Twist number 2 is that the compromise agent gets to pick who they will compete against, and she chooses 2-time champ Ashley. Ashley wins the elimination pretty easily, and then twist number 3 is that she can choose to infiltrate any other cell, including the agency. She, however, chooses to stay with the Sapphire cell. We then get a look at the rest of the season in the next preview. So a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah, a lot of twists. What was your thought regarding the decisions made? So as they finished up the portion where it was essentially a schoolyard pick to pick, who was going to be on which teams. What did you make of the way those teams kind of shook out?
I mean, I was thinking to myself, wow, they're a thing where it's picking them there. I was like, there's obviously going to be a power team and a not power team. I thought the middle team the Emerald team, the Sapphire team ended up being better than it probably should have been. It was kind of weird the way that worked out. And it's a thing because Ashley and her name just escaped me all of a sudden, Amanda are friends. And so that really helped because they're both good. I mean, that's the one thing we learned too, is Ashley's competitive nature really showed in this episode, as much as we talk about her being a 2-time defending champ in quotes. It did show. And I think, obviously the Emerald team has got, a lot going for it, but the Ruby team was just hilarious. I mean, it's a disgrace. And it kind of showed you, I mean, it was funny. It was and this is life in general. You never stop picking, the dodgeball team in life. And even if it's some TV show, but it can be anything. There's work things where that happens, where they're hey, pick someone to do this project with. And then you're like, well, I'm not picking this person.
Right.
And, and so that kind of stuff just shows out. So it's just sort of funny that we got that. I like the idea of it because I knew it couldn't just be purely individual. I didn't know how they were going to do it. I thought my initial thing when I was watching this episode, right at the beginning, is I said this out loud. I was like, TJ's going to pick their teams. I just thought that was going to be the thing. He's like, whether it was drawn from a hat or he just said, this is what I'm doing. So I like that. The fact that they're on teams is kind of odd when it's individual, but the twist of that, you get to pick who goes in there with you and then you can infiltrate, I think is a great, everything about it was good. I thought the teams, I actually still think that the Sapphire team's the best when it actually gets down to it. I think they'll end up being
third girl. Oh, Bettina.
Yeah.
And she showed out in last week's elimination. So
So I think they are actually gonna probably end up being the best. My favorite moment of the show is when Tori was freaking out at the beginning. And she's like, we are all stressing out. And then CT's just laying in bed, covering his face, not at all fazed by this, which was my favorite moment. And I think a good sign of things going forward. But
and I thought as well, it was finally evident when it became a schoolyard pick. And they finally, as he rounds the corner, holding his sledgehammer over his shoulder, they're like, okay, here comes the number 1 draft.
Yes.
They finally kind of demonstrated a little bit of respect for his legacy. I think my initial thing was I didn't understand the cells, Like I asked out loud like several times to Melissa as we were watching. I'm like, is this an ongoing thing or just a this episode thing? But it seems like it's an ongoing thing. It kind of confused me. I didn't think that they did a great job of conveying that. I'm still not convinced that the skulls are not part of this picture. That was going to be my thought, was that when the individual elimination started, that they'd be competing for skulls now, and you need a skull to compete in TJ's final. I'm still not 100% sure that that's not next. When we get to next week, that he's going to say
people.
Right. And that's
so there's a lot still happening.
Yeah. And, there's still 17 people, and now we're only eliminating one person an episode. So this show is going to go on until Christmas of 2023.
Yeah.
And it's funny that we say that, like, this was the 10th episode, and there's going to be at least 10 more. You
has to be 10 more, I would think. Yeah.
Or thereabouts. But so what did you make strategically of them voting Priscilla in and then Priscilla calling down Ashley?
I thought that Priscilla she basically got called in for shaking things up.
Right.
And she as a rookie. And she knew that. And she, I think she was she wasn't shocked at all.
Right.
And then she picked Ashley because she's been like, that was the battle was between her and Ashley. So I think I think the way it played out was the way it should have played out. In the fact that she got called down, she went against Ashley. Ashley's has won, and then she ended up winning, in the end, because like, this is still a rookie. This is still someone that doesn't. And also, like, when she was kicking to get the tire, I thought that was dumb, because that's how I always dig things out, is by kicking the ground. Right. So that just showed like that's a rookie mistake, as it were. It was, why am I digging? We always dig with our feet and not our hands, and it was a bad move. So I think the way it played out was exactly. I even said when she went up against Ashley, I'm like, well, Ashley's going to win whatever this is. Just even if it's because I just had no faith in Priscilla winning this time around. I realized like this is where the shakedown happened. She's out. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought she had a better chance than the fight she put up. I was a little bit disappointed with.
It was a blowout.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. And I guess that, like you said, that says that did show Ashley's competitive spirit. And I would say the other two things that were very funny to me were Ashley's argument for not being voted in was our argument.
Yes.
Which is, I'm a 2-time champ because I've had good partners.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of funny to see her kind of use that. And then the other thing was, and this is kind of, tangential or whatever, but when Tori and CT were talking, and she's like, Amber B's out. And CT's like, yeah, I mean, she's good at running, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which is, again, BXG analysis.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
we're vets. We're vets of this show.
Yeah. Yeah. We understand how the game is played. Not saying we could go in and play it, especially me in my shape.
I think I can go in and do okay.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not in any kind of shape.
Oh, I thought you said you don't think. I think I can still good enough to get in there and make. I don't think I could win, because I'm not strong enough to win something like that.
Yeah,
but I
no
think
offense,
I can hang
man.
around.
You could put in a hall brawl against like Corey.
Oh no, I'm not saying I would, but I think I would make a better showing. Plus, I would definitely do like steroids if I knew I was on the show. So that would definitely help. List pound muscle milk and steroids and lift a ton of weights if I knew I was going to be on the show. But I think I would do okay based purely on I know how to play the game.
Right.
The twist, because Devin never does anything.
Right.
He's smart. That's his biggest thing. His biggest muscle is his brain. And I know it's an organ, but that's what he actually how he stays around on.
Here's the thing. And I will echo the great Nelly T. People don't remember the mission winners. They only remember the champions.
That's right.
And I don't know what that has to do with this conversation. I just wanted to quote Nelly.
Oh, you got to quote friend of the program.
Yeah. So I actually had we have a listener inquiry about the challenge, and this is a fun one. It comes from John Kish. And his question is, if you could live inside of the head of one challenger for a day, being John Malkovich style, who would it be and why? He also clarified that he doesn't want either of us to answer as Josh.
Ah, damn. Okay. That's a good one. I probably would say Devin.
Okay.
Because I feel like knowing, like, Devin's hamster wheel doesn't stop.
Yeah.
He's always thinking of a way to not do stuff, which I respect, and to like get everyone on his side. I don't know if anyone's done more, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I just don't know if anyone's done more with like less actual activity than he has ever on this show.
Right.
He's friends with everyone and he makes things work, even though he's like slimy, like, he's slimy, but other people, and yet he's still, I think it'd be fun just to feel the, and I could have gone dirty and I didn't go dirty. So kudos to me, not going dirty.
Right.
Devin, I think, would be hilarious because I think just that would never stop.
I think for me, it's a toss up between Kyle and Nelson. And I think because
I don't want to be in Kyle's head.
Kyle's so witty. Mm-hmm. He's very funny.
He is very funny.
And I would just like to see the whole house from Kyle's point of view. And I think also as well, the other side of that being Nelson would be Nelson finds a way every season for his mouth to get him in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Like, just when you think that Nelson like kind of maybe has put it all together, he just has an episode where he just completely melts down. And we kind of saw that in the preview with Kyle. They get in each other's grill. I don't know which one of those guys I'm piloting in that situation. I don't know,
I honestly feel like this is just based on me knowing you. I say you're more of a person in Kyle's brain than you would be a person in Nelson's brain.
Yeah. I think I could learn something from being in Kyle's brain, whereas being in Nelson's brain would just be like being in a theme park for me.
Sure.
I mean that in the most complimentary way possible.
Right. Yeah. We both, when we say friend of the program, we actually do like Nelson and find him hilarious. And
double Nelly T.
Double Nelly T. I would say that my best description of Nelson would be he's a 1,000-piece puzzle where one piece is missing. And you can put that thing together every single time. Well, what I'm saying is that from like afar, it looks okay. But then the closer you get, you notice that flaw. And he always, like you said, he always figures out a way to just screw himself. And I think that's probably, the preview at least made it seem like that. So,
right. Yeah. So moving forward, seeing the twists of the game play out and how they can potentially go about things. Who do you like? Who do you like as a favorite man and woman, and then maybe a dark horse for both?
I would say CT and Amanda. I really like. Yeah.
To win?
To win. Yep. Because they brought up this whole baby thing. And once
Corey's been riding that angle for 5 seasons.
I know, but it's different because she's a woman and she's a single woman taking care of a baby. And she was on the front lines during COVID. I'm a plot line person on this show. I'd love to think everything's kosher, but you never know. They really played into that. She's just good enough. And if it becomes some sort of like team challenge at the end, she's athletic enough to do some of the little things, and she is smart. So I think that, and I didn't think that until this episode. And then I was like, wow, they're playing this angle hard all episode with her. So it's that like feel good story thing. And then my dark horse, I'm going to say Josh. I think Josh, friend of the program. And I'm going to go, oh man, who would be my woman? That would be the toughest one. I'll say Nani, another like a feel good feel good pick. You know, she's number one. And I'm not saying this based on like my, you know, like enjoyment of looking at her. I'm saying based purely on storyline, plot line. Plus, like no one picks her anymore. She's like it's another one of these things where she's been there so long, people kind of forget she exists.
Right.
And that helps you on this show tremendously.
Yeah, sometimes. I think picking CT is it's almost too obvious at this point for two reasons. Number one, and this is why I think that the Skulls have a chance to come back. No one is going to vote him in and then let him pick the person that he's facing. And then no one's going to pick like willingly to go against him. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing of we need to get vets who have won championships out of here. It's so stacked against him, or I'm sorry, stacked for him. It's almost like a Kentucky Duke, New England Patriots thing, where it's like he's so far and away the favorite that he can't possibly win. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's weird, but I mean, unless they decide to do another twist, based purely on what the game is right now, it is so set up for him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's crazy.
So
it might be the easiest route he's ever had if the show stays like it is.
Right. So I it'd be foolish to not call him the favorite from the male side. From the female side, I think you've got a handful of strong women. I think Ashley kind of showed that maybe she is a little bit more on her game this season than she has been the last couple seasons. I think from a purely physical standpoint, Tori's a threat. I think that Casey's pretty well-rounded.
Yeah.
So I could really see any of those three winning. As far as dark horses go, I feel like Corey, and I said this last season, like this feels like a Corey season to me. And I'm to the point now where it's almost like he's almost to the point where CT was, where it was like, this feels like a CT season every season until he finally won. Because I think that Corey is going to just stick around until he wins, or he's going to be the next Leroy. You know what I mean?
I think Corey reminds me of like Chris Paul.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think that's that where he's good and he's always good, and he's considered one of the best. He's one of the best to do this. He's maybe the best to never win in the format that we have now. The people we have now, they're active members of this.
Yeah, because I would say like Leroy is.
Well, Leroy's the best probably ever.
To never win.
But he's retired. I bet he comes back. But
we'll see. I don't know.
Got a good business going for him.
Yeah, that's true. And then as far as like a dark horse for the women, I would say Emmy, because if it gets to the point in a final where she can get basically exactly what Corey said, he pegged her like totally perfectly. If she's got a vocal, strong leader, she's going to do well. But if she doesn't have that, or I said, Corey's not who said that.
Who was it? It was
Devin.
Oh my God. It was Devin. Yeah.
Devin or Josh. Yeah. One of those.
I think it was Devin.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing is like, if she can get kind of paired up with somebody who's stronger, then I think she could do well.
And the only reason I didn't say Devin, even though I respect the hell out of him for what he does, is that eventually there's something physical.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't proven that yet.
Right.